If you have never been here before, then you know we're pretty lucky to have landed this spot for our indoor services. It sure beats the pavilion on a rainy day, doesn't it? It is wonderful to see you all here this morning, and in our faith community, just to remind you of our name, we provide the opportunity or the entry point for you to explore or to discover what it is that you believe. We're not going to tell you, but we're going to encourage you on your journey. We gather here every 2 weeks, and on the weeks that we are not here, we offer a virtual service. If you have not filled out a blue card so that we can get that service to you, please do that today. That blue card is in the blue basket on your table, which is also where you can give a contribution to this faith community. We have several announcements this morning, and you can also find these announcements in the program. We will be having a Christmas Eve service this year. We were not able to do that live last Christmas, just like many other churches. The executive team and I spent time looking for all kinds of venues. I want to explain it. While we have this beautiful place on Sunday mornings, we are not able to rent this place on Christmas Eve because Conner Prairie is closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I even tried to get a Christmas Eve service, but they have a wedding here. So we were not able to do that. So we searched in the area. We decided perhaps the Carmel area might be a good location. And so we will be having our Christmas Eve service at 5:30 on December 24th, on Christmas Eve, at the Carmel Lions Club, which is on Main Street in Carmel, and the exact address is in your program. Our founder, Reverend Dr. Linda McCoy, will be speaking, as has become our tradition for the last several years. Also, speaking of Christmas, we have made the decision that we will support, Entry Point will support Sequoia Aging and In-Home Solutions. They have long been our partners, and we are going to donate all of what we, not all, 10% of what we take in the month of, would be kind if we could, but we can't. 10% of what we take in for December contributions will go directly to Sequoia for the many needs that they have. Also, if you are shopping from Amazon this holiday season, please consider accessing the Amazon Smile through our website. So the first thing you do is log into our website, which is Entry Point Online, and then you look across the top of our home page, and there are tabs across the top, and there's a Donate tab. And then you drop down the Donate box. The Donate tab has literally the second slot is Amazon. And you click on the Amazon drop down, it will take you to this page. You click on Amazon Smile, it will directly go to your Amazon account. It's amazing the way that works. It doesn't cost you a penny, but Entry Point gets a little bit of a kickback from that. So that is a good opportunity for us. And at this point, Jen Jansen, who is a member of our executive team and a longtime member of our faith community, has a few words to share.
Good morning. So this is such a great time of the year for expressions of gratitude. And so this morning, we're giving a special shout out to our Entry Point singers. 4 of them are here today.
So today, we will be talking about how difficult our family gatherings can sometimes be. I've had several conversations this week with several people who are right there struggling, including us a little bit. So it is that difficult time in which you're making plans to see your beautiful family, and then those imperfect people turn out to be complicated, don't they? We're perfect, but they're not. And so I don't know if you have that problem, being perfect and the rest of them not. But this is definitely realistic. So that is the purpose of our service today. Shawn is going to give us some help on how to navigate that kind of a problem, and he'll be up here in just a moment. But speaking of Thanksgiving, a few dad jokes. Why was the turkey arrested by the police? Because it was suspected of foul play. But what did the dad say when his family told him to stop making lame jokes about cold turkeys? I can't quit cold turkey. And finally, what do you call the turkey that you see the day after Thanksgiving? Lucky! That's right!
Good morning, and please pray with me. Dear God, we do thank you for the blessings of this holiday season and for the opportunity to gather in celebration of all that is beautiful in this world. We ask for each of us to have a place to be in the company of others, where each can feel appreciated during the festivities. The holidays are heralded culturally as the most wonderful time of the year. And Norman Rockwell-esque images crowd our news feed and our TV screens. So, with joyful and happy times together as our goal, many of us prepare to spend the holidays with those people who we have been taught will provide us unconditional love, our families. But God, in spite of the expectations that are built by the world about the blessings of family, I can't help but to notice that it is this very group of people who can end up hurting and confusing me the most. These are the people who should know me the best and who have seen me at my best and worst, and for whatever reason, some of these relationships seem so fraught with emotional peril that I find myself preparing my apologies in advance. God, we ask for your presence and help as we face the perfect storm of complicated relationships and heightened expectations. We ask for whatever tools you can provide to help us to be respectful, open-minded listeners and abate our need to be right and win the argument. Let us consider the amazing life lessons our family members can instill in us so we can learn to appreciate each one of them for exactly who they are. Please help us to open our arms to jealous siblings, controlling parents, and prodigal sons. Remind us of how valuable each of these people are by lifting the self-consciousness we so often feel when we are together. Release our expectations about how the house should look or how the food should taste, so that we can focus on the most important reasons for the holidays, the healing of broken hearts and the uplifting of those who surround us. Help us to avoid the shrapnel of past conflicts by meeting people just where they are in the present moment with love. In so doing, we may have a prayer for a miracle, peace on earth, goodwill to all people. Amen.
Good morning. Wow, so Thanksgiving is almost here. I'm going to leave you with 3 words. I give you 3 words and I'm done. Intentional, gratitude, and acceptance. Okay, we'll start there. Intentional, gratitude, and acceptance. And let's launch into that difficult conversation of difficult conversations around the table, shall we? So I remember many years ago, one of the things that I was first told when it came to religion and politics, you know what I'm about to say. We don't say anything. We don't talk about it, right? Taboo topics. And taboo topics because when we say something about them at the dinner table, in a public space, someone is bound to have a different, oh my gosh, belief system than I do. Someone, oh my gosh, is bound to feel differently than I do. And that's a problem for my ego, by the way. I want you to know, that's a problem for my ego because I've spent my entire 40-some odd years on this planet believing that I was right. Linda laughed. I am, I'm right. So when those conversations come up, it's a little bit difficult for my ego to accept, right? Okay, fair enough. So when we talk about that, and then we look at, bringing this mixed bag of nuts into our lives, sometimes during the holidays, sometimes by choice, sometimes not. Before COVID, it was difficult, right? Before COVID, we could have a little anxiety maybe. Anybody have anxiety? Show of hands. Going into those holidays, a little bit of anxiety, okay? Post-COVID, guess what? Now everybody's right. Now everybody's got an opinion. And that's okay. So we're going to focus on 3 words today. Intentional, as I told you, is the first one. And I want to, if we could bring this definition up. Now, I know all of you are smart, but I think sometimes if we see this, it cements itself in our brain a little bit, gives us a chance to think about it maybe a little bit more in depth. Intentional, done on purpose or deliberate. Okay, now here's what that means. That means I have to make an effort to be intentional. In order to be intentional, I have to make an effort. And that's probably where most of us fail most of the time. Because let's face it, it's easy. Just like water takes the path of least resistance, electricity takes the path of least resistance, it's easy for us to take the path of least resistance, right? So being intentional takes effort, and sometimes it takes checking our ego at the door and saying that maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not right, maybe I agree, maybe I disagree, maybe I have to get my opinion out there. Because, gosh darn it, Jen needs to know. She needs to know what I believe. Or maybe she doesn't. So I want you to cement that in your head for a minute as we talk about intention, okay? Now, post-COVID, and we're not really out of it. Everyone in here is wearing masks. Of course, I'm the shining example of someone who's not at this moment. But post-COVID, we have come to a crossroads. I just heard on NPR this morning as I was driving here, a conversation they were having about how do you go about asking someone to a family gathering when it comes to your health and safety with a mask or without a mask or vaccinations. That's a difficult conversation to have right now. So COVID opened things up and left us with a lot of sore spots. And a lot of people very, very firmly believing not just what they believe now, but why they believe it. And if you don't believe it, then something's wrong. So the second thing that I really want to dive into then is gratitude. Now you say, how does gratitude come into this whole picture? Well, let's face it. If I can be grateful for the opportunity, notice the words I'm choosing as I go along this, grateful for the opportunity to spend time with people that I care about or don't care about, but grateful for the opportunity. Okay, there's something in linguistics that says that if my mind uses positive affirmation words like gratitude, then I can overcome the ego. I can turn my position, my perception, my beliefs to a more positive place. So intentional gratitude means that as I enter into these difficult conversations, I'm going to be grateful for the fact that Nancy sits in front of me at the table. Nancy may say something that I don't agree with. Would you do that?
Probably not.
Probably not. She's so agreeable. But she might. She might say something that I did not even know was a belief in her head. And at that moment I say, what do I need to do? I need to be intentional with my gratitude for the fact that I'm spending time with Nancy. She's a human being. And while she may believe differently than I do, while she may have a different viewpoint, here's the third one. I need to accept who she is and that her beliefs are just as valid as mine. Acceptance is the act of accepting something or someone. Now, let's be honest. That doesn't mean I agree. That's a different word, different definition. But to accept someone where they are. And Nancy and I were talking, she's in theater, and we were talking about this, practice of improv in theater. Meaning that when two people get together and practice improv, in order for improv to work, I have to be able to say something absolutely out of line, ludicrous, crazy, couldn't be real, to Lois. And when I say something to Lois, such as, but Dad, I don't want to go to the store right now. And Lois is clearly not my dad. But if we're improving, Lois has to go, but yes you do. She's even got the arms crossed, by the way, if you can't see her. And what that means is that in order for improv to work, I have to accept the fact that Lois isn't saying something that's even plausible in reality for us. But if I say, but Dad, I don't want to go to the store, Lois says, I'm not your dad. I'm not going to play that game. I'm not your dad. Then the improv game stops. And guess what? So does the conversation when you're sitting across the dining table from someone. The point here is intentional gratitude and acceptance means that we have to be grateful intentionally for the people that are around us, and we have to focus on acceptance of their beliefs, not agreement with, but acceptance, because in their world, that is a real thing, just like in my world, my beliefs are real. So as we go through the holidays, what I'm really asking everyone to do is to focus on being grateful in the moment. That's what Thanksgiving is all about, right? It's all about being grateful and thankful. Ask yourself, is it really worth it? I would love to see it. So everybody watch when we do this, okay? Look around the room, show of hands, anyone who has ever argued their point of beliefs with somebody of a different belief and got that other person to change their mind. Anyone. Just in case you didn't look around, there are no hands in the air. No hands in the air, and that's powerful. Why is that powerful? Because that gives you your moment of intentionality to say, it's not going to change, no matter how good my logic is, no matter how real it is to me, their beliefs are just as real and valid to them, and I have to accept them as they are. And that is going to be what I hope and pray that you will think about this season as you're faced with people. It may not be family members. It could be that person that you are standing in line next to at the store as you are fighting over that toy for your wonderful, wonderful grandchild, and you hear something fly out of their mouth that just incinerates your insides. Practice a random act of kindness at that moment. I challenge you. And come back and tell us about it, by the way. Tell us how you overcame that moment so that you could practice intentional gratitude and acceptance. With that being said, I want to conclude with this. I have been, through my life, challenged by everything that I'm telling you right now. I have my moments where it is everything I can do to hold back. And I can tell you what, this practice of intentional gratitude and acceptance is what I've come to realize is my saving grace that works sometimes. It's the best thing I've got. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about Facebook, and she is, many of you might know her, Amy Stark. She is known around the state of Indiana specifically as being a Facebook guru, or not Facebook, a social media guru. She is very good at social media, and we were talking about this idea of branding, of putting your brand out there. Who are you on social media? And I said, Amy, I'm like preaching emotional intelligence every single day to people. Control your emotions, put positivity into the air, blah, blah. And I have put things on my social media account that I've had to delete. Okay? Just being real with you. That goes into the point of being human. We are all human. That's okay. Put your efforts on intentional gratitude and acceptance of people, love one another, and get through the holidays with a smile on your face, my friends. Thank you so much for your time.
Well, as we all get ready to sit down at our family table this Thursday, or table of a friend, let's try to keep this Bible passage in mind. Give thanks in all circumstances. While that is a very tall order, and honestly not completely attainable by any one of us as human beings, it is something to keep in mind. The more we are thankful and grateful, the better our lives will be. It was wonderful to spend time with you all this morning. Shawn, thank you for a wonderful message. Next Sunday in our virtual service, I will be helping us all to recognize the progress that we are making on our journeys through life when we often don't realize it. A little bit of focusing on ourselves and our own personal journey. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be right back here again at the Prairie House, where we will investigate a variety of holiday celebrations. Have a great Sunday and go in peace. Amen.